You caught me. I forgot to turn on our light. Oh well. What can I say? I was trying to turn on a light, but actually we look okay. The light's good. Hi everybody, we're Mike and Jen.
Welcome.
You don't you have no comment, huh?
No comment.
Okay. Well,
You've been
it would have been a noble idea if I could have done it. So
actually, I was getting kind of fearful because this great big light was going to be right in my face. I thought I
yes,
don't think I'll be able to see.
yes, it was. But it didn't fall, and we should be
Yeah, you
okay.
didn't knock it over. It's all good.
We had actually to have done something outside, but it's too awkward to
And
set
you
up.
and our son-in-law have been working on it for
Well,
hours.
I went out. We moved everything outside on a patio here. We're in Florida, and on Okaloosa Island, and which is ground zero. I mean, literally, this physical place that we're at right now, which is 50 yards from the Gulf of Mexico, is where Tropical Storm Fred is going to come ashore within the next 24 hours or so, maybe a little later than that, I think. And we wanted to show you how beautiful it is. It's one of those beautiful days. I just took this picture. I just was showing Phyllis. Let's see if it'll show. That is outside the balcony. That's where I was trying to set up, and you can see the Gulf. You know, there's some clouds. There's always clouds on the horizon, but we were sitting at that table that you see right over in here, and we were completely dark, and the background was great, and then vice versa. And it was just, I mean, I would have spent more, a couple hours and more lights. Frankly, it wasn't worth it. So we
Okay.
are inside today. Hey, let's just really get a quick update. We are on week one of our 2-week sweepstakes, in which we're going to give away a couple of those great nimble or waggle. I'm sorry, they used to be called nimble. Waggle.
Yeah, you got to get with it. It's my waggle, mywaggle.com.
You know, it used to be called Pet Safety Monitor. Then they
Yes.
went to Nimble, and now it's My Waggle. And it used
Yes.
to be Waggle even before that. So they keep changing the name of this
It's
thing.
good for you.
Yeah, it
Helps
makes
you be fluid.
helps my brain remember stuff. Yes, I guess. So anyway, we're giving away 2 of those in 1 week. We'll announce the winners. And Phyllis, would you share that address and tell them how they can enter for that?
Right.
Phyllis,
So,
everybody, joining us from Iowa.
yes, nice, beautiful Iowa. No fear of a hurricane here. So, rvlifestyle.com/sweepstakes. It's down at the bottom of your screen, so you should be able to see it. And these are 2 really great sweet, and there's only 1 week left. Saturday at midnight, this thing closes up. So, and you can go do all sorts of things and get more names in the bucket, so to speak. So I think that would be a really good thing to do for, for the pet owners. If you don't have a pet, I don't think you need this, but if you do have a pet, yeah.
It's great. We're down in Florida now. We came down through Nashville, and it was really hot, and we had that on all the time. If we left with Bo in the RV, I always had with that My Waggle app. I could see what the temperature was. So we're giving away 2 of them.
Yeah.
The deluxe one's worth, I think,
300,
300,
299,
299,
$2.99, yeah.
and then the other one, the one we have, is worth 199.
199.
So these are really great prices.
And they're giving everybody 50% off anyway. And so if you're not very lucky in winning sweepstakes and you want one, you might as well go over there and buy one. So at 50% off, I think that's really super awesome.
I've never seen a discount of 50% off like that.
Yeah, that's the only place I can see where it's happening is at 50% off is during the sweepstakes. So the link to do that is on the sweepstakes link right there.
So go join, and good luck, and hopefully we'll be announcing your name next week. All right, lots of questions. How do they ask questions? Good way, because we're simulcasting on Facebook, our Facebook group, RV Lifestyle Facebook group, RV Lifestyle Facebook page, our Facebook supporters, thank you, and over on YouTube as well. So we've got 4 different streams going out tonight, and we get a lot of questions, and we need a little help from you guys when you ask them. So
Yes, and so there's almost 300 people here right now, and they're coming from Facebook and from YouTube, and so they all get kind of queued up and mixed up in Mike's view here. So if you put question in all caps, it's easier to see, or you can put comment in all caps, and it's easier to see in this whole thread of things coming by very quickly. And also, if we don't get to it, we'll try to get to it on the socials. So if you're in the Facebook group and for some reason we miss your question, we can go over there and answer it.
and the other thing to do is, and we really like it, is if you would ask us a question by video, just take your
Mhm.
smartphone, hold it. I don't care how you hold it, but this is the better way to do it in landscape mode. And just do a selfie, ask us the question, and then email it to us at Mike and Jen at rvlifestyle.com, and we can put it on the podcast. And anything we get from you in the next 2 days, we will answer on the Wednesday podcast. So we'd love to
Awesome.
get. All right. Thanks, Phyllis. We'll check in with you at the end of the evening. I always like to go to the very first question, and this one comes from Robin and says,
It says, "A good evening. Is it better to have two 10-foot sewer hoses or a 15-foot and a 5-foot? I'm thinking the 5-foot could be used at a dump station easier and a 10-foot. What do you think? What do you think?"
just get a 15 or 20 footer and don't worry about it. They're messy, right?
Right.
Yeah. Nobody likes taking them apart and hooking those. You're talking about the stinky, slinky sewer hoses. It's not so bad when you have a macerator, but the stinky, slinkies, I don't, yucky. Um, just get one. And you're very seldom are you 5 feet away. I mean, that's really, that's about as long as we are apart here. And you're very seldom that far. 15 feet is probably the minimum I would suggest. Any bigger than that's a little hard to get in wherever you're keeping it. But
What do they recommend?
well, I
Like,
think they come with mostly at 15 feet. I think it's 15. We always have macerators. We love macerators. I think we do have a sinky slinky in there somewhere. I've never used one. And if it comes time to do it, I'm going to say, hey, Jen, it's time for you to learn a new skill.
it just seems to me like that's a lot to store.
Yeah, 2 of
It's
them.
kind of messy
And
to
yeah,
store
it's
two
2
of
you
them.
gotta clean and yeah.
And then they,
So get the bigger one, 15, at least a 15-foot. Don't get the little 5-foot extension. You're never that close where you're gonna use just one. So, thanks, Robin, for being on early and asking that first question. Here's one from Neil Soloway.
now that the Canadian border is open, when do you foresee the US side reciprocating?
It should be the 21st, right? But this whole COVID Delta variant and the politicization of masks and vaccine and all that stuff has, the US is just a mess right now politically over this thing. I don't know if they'll open it on the 21st. Maybe they will. The southern border's open, right? Everybody's coming across with COVID. They might as well let everybody in Canada, and they've all been vaccinated. So I don't know. I don't know. It should be the 21st, unless they have changed their mind and are stopping it. But yeah, who knows? This whole system just gets crazier day by day. And it's if we're down in Florida, which is kind of a hotbed of it right now, and it
Isn't
is.
everybody at the dog park?
Yeah, they all either had recently had it or knew somebody who had it. So, I don't want to minimize this thing at all. It is there.
99%. Some they didn't even know they had it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, many of them are saying that the symptoms are much less, but I'm not going to get into
Don't
that
know.
discussion
don't
because
know.
somebody will get mad no matter what I say. Despina Reyes is, hi, Despina.
Is a PMS repeater booster really needed on a 24-foot Class B? Do you have a repeater? And is it connected to the chassis electric system?
No, it is not needed. TPMS, for those who are wondering what the acronym is, stands for Tire Pressure Monitoring System. And there are all sorts of different ones out there. The booster is if you're on maybe a Class A, or you're hauling it with a big pickup and you got a fifth wheel or a travel trailer behind, and the distance is much further than 24 feet. But you should not need a repeater system on something that small, not on just a camper van Class B like you have. So don't worry, just get the regular one. Is it connected to the chassis electrical system? The ones that, in fact, I'm giving one away at our meetup in the Mississippi. It's just a great little system. It just screws on. The sensor screws on to the valve stem. Very lightweight, doesn't hurt the valve stem, and then it transmits wirelessly. And they're real simple batteries. Maybe once a year, you replace the batteries, but you don't need to hook it up to the electrical system unless you get, unless you're towing a 50, 60 feet, of tires back there. You don't need the repeater system. Linda Ward.
Hello from Robbinsville, New Jersey. I am finally going to get to read your new book.
Which book do you think that is?
I'd
The
say
Boondocking book?
the book, the hardcover.
Oh, the hardcover or oh yeah, I think Linda won it. Yeah, she won it. And then our latest book is the Great Lakes Shoreline Tour. And I've heard from a couple of people who got that and are in the midst of it right now,
Good.
enjoying taking that tour around the U.S. Side of the Great Lakes. Well, Linda, congratulations again on winning. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope we get to see you in person. Bring it with you, and we'll autograph it for you.
Woohoo.
And that'll get it maybe worth another 10 cents. Or Linda Quick.
And it's hello from Tampa, Florida. Is it raining there yet?
No, it's
No, it's
beautiful.
beautiful.
In fact, we want to even cut this short because we want to take. We've got our daughter and son-in-law, and their two daughters, and
I guess.
a friend, Bella, 3 teenage girls, and we want to take them, someplace fun to hang around tonight. But it's a beautiful night. That right now, I do not see a cloud in the sky. It's perfectly
About
blue.
2:30, some wind came through, and the umbrellas started flying, and everybody left.
That had nothing to do with the storm.
was
this
just-
is
This is a storm early. What's going on?
Yep.
Then it settled right back down again.
this is thunderstorm season in Florida. Every afternoon there's usually a little thunderstorm or a storm that builds up with all the humidity and the heat, and that was all that was. Right now I'm looking at some flags that I can see, and they're not even moving in the wind. So no rain. It's beautiful, and
I forgot to check. Is the red flag still up for swimming?
it was up for a while. It's
I don't
down
know.
now because the lifeguards go off duty after 6. So Van Gogh.
Okay, the Battleborn 100Ah lithium batteries are on sale for only $7.99. That's $150 off the normal price. Very tempting.
And you know why? It's because they've come up with now this 300 amp hour battery. These powerful 300 amps, and they're pretty expensive, but they're selling a lot of those. And in fact, if the next RV we get, if we get another RV, we'll probably get those in them because they're just awesome. But that is a great price, and we've been telling you all along that you can expect lithium prices to go down because lithium, there's more competition. Competition is always good, and there's more demand for it. So they're not quite as expensive to make because you're making more of them, right?
Sounds good to me.
So yeah, good price. Hi, James Massey.
Would you consider developing a video showing best practice for RV roadside emergencies? Cursory search found little. Common sense is key, but RV needs may be unique.
Well, it's kind of the same as if you have a breakdown with a car. And the hard part about doing a video like that is I'd have to simulate everything. I'm not going to go out on the road and really, do a video with it, where, you're risking people's lives for the sake of trying to save them. But it's common sense. And let me think it over. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. It seems like people who sell tires would have some kind of videos that they make about why their tires are
You
best.
get off the road, don't stay on the road, move away, put your flashers out, that kind of stuff. But let me do some research on that. It would be, I suppose it would be a good video to have. So, we just did one on how to hook up water. But people don't know. Newbies don't know this. How do you hook up your water, your fresh water? When every RV is different, of course, your freshwater tank. But so we got a couple of people who were like, "Well, if you have to do that, you shouldn't be an RVer." Well, everybody has
to start
questions.
someplace.
So, James, I think the more I talk about it, the better it sounds like an idea. So, thank you for that suggestion. We'll see what we can do. Susie Ticknell Smith.
What computer printer, if any, do you take along with you?
We don't take one. I don't use a printer very much. I can't think of the last time I have needed to use a printer on the road. Um, Early on, when we were doing, uh, before I went completely, electronic with my checks, I sometimes had to write a check. I wanted to have one to print out, and then I realized this is easy to use handwriting. It's good to keep in practice doing that.
Probably would be easier because it seems like we always have issues with the printer.
Oh, printers are, yeah,
Buy a new one every year.
there's a bunch of portable ones, and I've looked at them not in the last couple of years, and several times considered getting one. I think I actually was going to order one, and it was out of stock, and I was going someplace, and I think it was a real long trip, and that's why I figured it'd be handy. But we don't use one, and 10 years from now, I can't count. Maybe on one hand, I could when I could have used one, but I didn't, and we were none the worse for wear for it.
Now you've got two printers at our house, downstairs and upstairs. Maybe when next time one of them goes,
They're too
maybe
big. I don't want to
no,
carry
get a
one.
small one.
Oh,
Get the portable one.
yeah, the portable ones. I used to have them for other purposes when we were on the road, staying at hotels and stuff, and
Mhm.
we had to print out stuff much more. And I was never very pleased with them.
Well,
they were kind of chintzy.
they've
They
probably
broke easy.
gotten better.
Maybe,
Maybe,
I don't
maybe
know.
not too.
But Susie, we just haven't needed them. Hi, Edward Varga.
Picked our embassy, but more tweaks and much to learn in order to share pictures from South Bend.
Yep, our buddy at Embassy. They make a really, really neat. I think they have like Edward. If I'm wrong, correct me. But they have no wood. They don't use wood. They use really neat stuff and they have those great floors. Really insulated. Embassy makes a really high end, nice components that they put on those Class Bs of theirs. So
I'm curious to see how that holds up with the earthquake when you're driving down the road.
I
Where
think it would be good.
with wood, unless it's solid wood, the screws and things can fall out.
We've had a lot of that on our Wonder with that composite wood that they use to save weight. It doesn't
Make it lighter?
it screws. Yeah, we've had a lot of issues with screws coming out of that thing. Put them back in or use longer screws, and
Yeah.
they fix
It's
easily.
easy to fix.
Yeah, we went to the Embassy factory. I've shared this before. We're very impressed. We got a great tour, and but they didn't have a finished product there, and so we never could really finish the video. And then they moved factories, so it would be time to probably go and do
It would
another.
be.
And we'll be there for dealer open house in October, and maybe we can get a
End of
tour of the
September?
factory. End of September. Yes, not October. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. Yep, right after Hershey. Yep,
Mhm.
yep. Lindy Rollins.
I need some kind of bug shelter. I love the idea of netting hanging from the awning, but I wonder how hard it is to put up and undo. The other choice is a clam shelter. Your preference? I think it would be too hard to hook up, on the awning. That just seems like there'd be too many spaces for it to get in, but that sounds the best way to do it. But I don't see many people doing that. It seems like everybody has a standalone
Yeah,
area.
those little clamshells or there's
Mhm.
little tents that you just kind of like shake loose and they'll pop up and you can put them over a picnic table
I'm
and
trying to
stuff.
think if I ever see anybody with netting
I've
under their
never seen
awning.
it. I mean, you'd have to have so much of it. It'd be just,
Yeah.
it kind of sticks together when you wind it up. And I've never seen it. Now, maybe you could make panels out of it, but I don't know what kind of an RV you have for storage. Never seen anybody with that. So,
Maybe somebody can answer
yeah.
that has both. I've always wondered where you store the standalone.
I don't know. You'd have
Who's
to
got
have,
room to store that?
yeah. I don't know. Susie Ticknell Smith again.
We switched from a Class C to a Class A this year. We think the Class C came with a Wi-Fi antenna. Do we still need to get a router in order to connect? Do we need a special router?
Oh, I don't know what kind of antenna you got. It sounds like you might have the Winegard Connect 2 up on your roof, which is a Wi-Fi booster. That is just an antenna, and because it is higher, it tends to pick up Wi-Fi signals that you can jump into the network at a campground, or if you're in a shopping center, it'll pick up Starbucks or McDonald's, or it just picks up Wi-Fi signals. It is not a booster for the cell phone per se, unless you. Now, some of them have an antenna that will allow you to put in a cellular, uh, SIM card, but that still doesn't boost the signal. If that's the one you have, the WineGuard Connect 2. So I don't know what you have. If you have if you want the internet by cell connection, you do need a router, and there are a number of them. We're trying one out right now, and I was actually going to tell folks a little bit more about it because we had hoped to be doing tonight's Ask Us Anything from our RV near the beach using this new router, and then I was going to tell you how it worked, but because of this approaching storm, and because we have family with us, we've put the RV at our friends Les and Kathy. There are a couple of other RVers, RV lifestyle friends. They live, and I drove it over there last night. So maybe next week I'll have this, and I can tell you more about it then. But you do need a router, and some people say you need a cell phone booster. We do not have a booster in our RV now. I have a couple of different wireless systems that we use. We're using Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, and I have three different Wi-Fi, two jetpacks, and this new system, which I'll tell you more about after I have a little bit more experience with it. But so far, we just tested it out this week as we've driven across the country from the north to the south. It's worked really well, really well. I'm very impressed with it. Bob Leach.
Waggle is the greatest. Thank you for the 50% off discount. Have you heard about French Quarter RV Resort?
Have not. So don't. I guess that's in Louisiana. Near New Orleans. I don't know. Haven't heard about it. Why don't you put it on our map, on our STEPS map, our interactive RV lifestyle
Yeah,
map?
tell us about it.
Yeah, and then tell everybody about it. Do y'all know about that map thing? We've had it out for a couple of months now, and there are hundreds of spots now. People have been putting it in, but this is where, right here, go check our group map. This is absolutely free, and you share your favorite spots and that you want to share, and you just look at a map. You can use it to search by tags, or like for boondocking spots or harvest host spots or campgrounds, with swimming pools. You can check all of that stuff. But we've got hundreds of them now, and it's absolutely free. It's a great resource, and just go to that site, and you can join. You can get an free app for your phone that you can use. You can check it on your laptops and tablets as well. So, but I don't know about the French Quarter RV. So put it on our map, and then we can all check it out.
It sounds like fun.
It does. Stephen Loy with a question or comment.
In your article about the best Class B RVs, it seems like you primarily mentioned Eastern manufacturers, Sportsmobile in
Fresno, California
makes Class B.
Yes, they do, but they're such a marginally small share of the Class B market. They're really kind of a off-grid overlander type vehicle. They are not in the mainstream for Class Bs, and we could have gone with 500 different Class Bs. I had a lot of people got mad that I didn't do a Wonder or didn't do a Ford Transit based model, and I was about to. We did the Galleria from Coachman, and it was a toss-up which one I would like the most: the Galleria, which is a little larger on the Sprinter platform, or the shorter Beyond, which is on the Ford Transit chassis. I just didn't want to do two of them from the same manufacturer. So remember, it was my list of my favorites, so I picked the Galleria.
Well, we could have done just Mercedes, and then we could have done just Ford,
and then we
get Dodge,
and we could do our favorite red RVs, and our favorite black ones, and our favorite silver color. But I can't do them all.
You could do one on the advantage of a dark color versus a.
But I think that maybe a really good story that we should do based on that, because there seems to be a lot of interest in the Ford Transit, is maybe we do the best Ford Transit based RVs that we've seen out there, and those would all be Class Bs or Cs. There's number C's on our Wonder from Lisa Travel, and it's a C on the Transit. So I think that would be a pretty good one. Sportsmobile is a beautiful unit, but it's a little too specialized, and I'm trying to keep them somewhat mainstream.
Well, aren't there some rumors about Airstream?
Yes, we're going to talk about it in the podcast, but Airstream
Should we
was
make them not tell them then and just make them listen to the podcast? No, I'm just joking.
yeah. I never mind. We're going to tell you. Yeah, no, I got to tell them. Airstream announced this week that they are about ready to dump Sprinter. That they've had it with Sprinter, and there's no secret here. There is not a lot of love lost between RV manufacturers and Mercedes-Benz about the Sprinter chassis. The first thing that everybody got mad about is that Mercedes said, "The heck with you, RV makers. We're going with just Amazon," and they sold their entire inventory to Amazon. This is going back 3 years now. But then they had some issues. Mercedes did with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency on certification, and then they have the parts shortage. The bottom line is then they set up a quota system for every RV dealer, how many Sprinters you could get. Well, Airstream said, "Look, our whole Class B market is based on the Sprinter, and you're not giving us any. So we've got to find another manufacturer." And I think more power to them. All of them. I mean, those who make Class Bs and Cs using Sprinter, the manufacturers have all, as if they don't have enough problems with the parts shortages. The awnings and the air conditionings and the steps, to have Mercedes not kicking up enough. And then Mercedes has its own parts shortages too. It's not all. It's everybody's fault in that sense, the parts shortage. But bottom line is the Sprinter is falling quickly out of favor by RV manufacturers because of the continuing multi-year shortage of Sprinter chassis. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it's business. They get to do whatever they want to do, but I know it was an easy sell selling them all to Amazon, but
Well,
they
then
left
Amazon,
all their other customers high and dry. And then how many Sprinters does Amazon need before they have enough?
none. But then they went and they bought up all of the Dodge
Ford.
Rams, and now they're buying up all the Ford Transit, and then Dodge and Ford and the Mercedes, they're all hit with the parts shortages, the chips primarily, and so they aren't producing any of their chassis. It's just a mess.
So does
And
this mean
everybody in the
everybody's got to
industry,
boycott Amazon? So
no,
they don't-
don't buy. Yeah, everybody in the industry. I was worried this would happen. People said, "Oh, the more you get into the RV industry, you're going to know, what fair weather friends the industry really is." And they are. They're just going on like, "This is the best year ever. We're doing great." Yeah, but you've got a lot of disappointed people. Diane M.
Have you ever used a generator to run your air conditioner for short periods of time? Yes, we do it all the time. When we stop and it's miserably hot and we have to run in a store or pick up something, we turn it on for Bo. And then we have our monitor so that we can see how
Or waggle.
our
Yeah.
waggle, see how everything's going in the RV. We use it all the time. Even if we want to stop and just take a nap,
Yeah.
we'll turn it on.
We just did that coming down.
Yeah.
We did, we tend to use rest areas to rest and also to eat. We'll have lunch on the road or dinner.
Mhm.
And so we turn on the generator and run the air and get it all cool. It was hot this week.
Yeah.
Really
And
hot.
sometimes it's raining. You don't want to go out and sit at a picnic table in the rain,
Or it's too hot.
or it's too
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
So all the time. Hannip?
Have you considered a true Class C RV? And if so, which one is your favorite?
I think by that you mean the ugly one with the hangover. The front over.
Is that a cab? What is that?
Cab over.
I don't know
Yeah.
what that's called.
Sleeper cab over. That's what you mean by true Class C.
Actually, what we have, it's considered.
It is a C. They
Yeah,
call
it
it
is
a B
C,
plus, but it's
they
a C.
they consider it sleeker looking,
Yeah.
not quite so bulky looking. Maybe get a little better gas mileage because
Little-
it doesn't have that.
Yeah, it's
Hard-
more
but the
that
bad
European
part is,
styling and
With that overhang, you can bring more kids can have.
Did you say
Yes,
bad part?
I said the good part.
Oh, yeah.
The bad part is with what we've got, we don't have extra beds.
No, we have. It's just two of us. We have no more room for it, and for beds. Um, sure. We like Class C for us seems to be our sweet spot right now. And I've mentioned this before on your questions. I'm very interested in these small Class Cs, like the
A's.
Access, or small Class A's. Yes, thank you. Like the Access. Our friend Eric, who's been posting a lot, as he and his wife are traveling all over the country in their Access. We saw them someplace in down south earlier in the spring, and it's the first time I got inside and really looked at it. It's a very small A. It's only 28 feet, I think, 26, 28 feet, but really nice. So we've been looking at those. Those are sharp little units. So, but true Class C, I think that's our sweet spot is a C.
It's a true Class C with that extra part there, because we've
I
got.
don't know if I just don't like the
We've
looks
got the
of that.
C minus or B plus, whatever you want to call it.
Why do they call it a C? Or the B plus? It should be a C
And
minus.
they call it a B plus to get people's attention,
I guess.
but it's really a C.
It's really a C minus because it's minus the traditional Class C overhead. Let's all start a movement to call it the C minus. I like that, Jennifer. Jeanette Wisniewski.
Do you know?
Wisniewski, I think it's
Do you
pronounced.
know if you're allowed to run a business out of a park? They wouldn't want people coming and going to pick things up at your.
Not really. It's
Would you be using too much of their?
well, they don't want. Most of them say no commercial business allowed. There's a lot of people who do little things, but no, not where you say unless the park gives you permission. Like, hey, I hear a lot. For example, I had this question posed before from RV techs. Hey, we want to be a mobile RV tech. My husband's great at fixing stuff, and as we travel, we want to have a sign outside our RV in the parks. Hey, we'll fix your RV. Can we do that? And
I would say the answer is no.
it depends on the park, but
Oh.
most of them don't want you doing that. Some of them will say, well, sure, we'll tell people, because there's always somebody who needs some work done at a park. But you got to check with the parks what kind of a business it is the first thing they'll ask. And then now, if you're an accountant and you're doing remote work from your RV, that's fine. But if it's a business where the public can come and do commerce with you at a park, I think that you're going to find problems. So certainly ask for their permission first.
The world can get so crazy because we have a friend who moved into a condo, and someone turned her in for running a business out of her home. She
Yes.
is a fitness instructor, and she had not a whole bunch of people, just a couple people.
A couple ladies who came around and did a group exercise
And I
once
guess
or
because
twice
they
a
all
week.
came in their leotards and tights, it was running a
Ooh.
business, and she got turned in because they didn't like 2 or 3 cars being out in front of her house. So you never know how crazy people are going to get.
Yeah, we're not good condo
No.
or homeowner association. I can't stand those rules. But people are nuts, There's always a
Well,
couple
and,
of
you know, then,
negative
you know,
people.
what can I say?
Yep.
My mom and dad had no parking signs put in front of their house. So
Is it
none
true
of the
that
neighbors could park in front of their house. What
is it
can I
true
say?
that the older you get, the more cranky you get?
Yeah, I think it's true.
You just get nicer.
Oh.
I think you are. What's your Mark Watman?
What's your favorite floor plan in the LTV?
Yes.
Well, the FX.
The FX on the Unity, on the Sprinter chassis, and I think on the Wonder, the rear twin bed model that we have.
I like that. I don't know. I was attracted to the twin beds in the front on the Wonder. Yeah.
Really?
You wanted the storage, the garage.
Yes.
But I thought you could tow more. I've never checked
You
that
can
out.
tow a little bit
If
more.
we
but not a
hadn't
lot.
had that,
The garage.
the garage.
Garage does touch, and it limits you in how much you can hold on that little.
And then I was thinking that the 2
hitch
twin
in the
beds in
back.
the front, maybe our dog would sit on one of those beds.
Yeah, it would probably be my bed you'd make him sit on, right?
I don't know. When he had his choice, he chose mine.
Good. Yeah, so that's mine. I like the rear twin bed on the Ford Transit with the big garage, and on the and Jennifer likes the front.
Well, I was
front corner.
intrigued by it. I considered it, but it wasn't ever seriously considered because you wanted all the storage area.
Yeah.
You know,
Um,
that was a big reason to switch the Ford engine and then the storage.
Yep. And then we both like the FX,
Yes.
which is the flexible, they call it. It's kind of a Murphy bed at the beginning, a king size Murphy that comes down on a little slide out. And then there's a separate rear lounge area where you can kind of hang out a little bit.
Mhm.
But nice. Bo says hi, by the way.
Yeah,
if you're
Bo
wondering.
is saying hi. I wonder what Bo's found to bark at.
Bob Leach.
All right. Looking at this YouTube channel, the UK channel, they have an outstanding caravan. You do you think they're ever going to produce it in the U.S. or manufacturers in the U.S. will take a hint and try to copy that?
We have we'll probably be talking about it in tomorrow's newsletter and on the podcast. But there's a really neat looking European motorhome that's coming out. In fact, I think it's almost here. I think it's in California and in New Jersey. They're showing it. I was hoping they were going to show it at the Hershey show, but we'll tell you more about it. But you know, folks in Europe are way ahead of U.S. manufacturers in terms of style, in terms of lightweight, in terms of fuel economy, in terms of future, in just appearance. They're light years ahead of U.S. North American manufacturers. So I'd love to see more of the European styling come into the U.S. But you know, they're selling them, and I don't think change is always hard when you're dealing with big corporations. Well, we're doing just fine.
Well, if it hadn't been for COVID, we were seriously considering going to the German
Yes, the
RV show.
Dusseldorf show every year. Yeah, we were going to do that. There's a lot of places we were going to. I've started making a list the other day
we
of
were
all
going to
the
do?
things we were going to do that COVID stopped us from doing. And
I think everybody could make their list.
yeah, and you kind of get through the year, and it's a little better now, and then you say, wow, look at all this, look at how our lives all changed last year. But to your question, Bob, there's a lot of really great vehicles that are made in Europe, and
Hmm.
I think they have the edge over U.S. styling, leaps and bounds better
And
than what
yeah,
you see in North
different
America.
materials.
Yeah.
Cassette toilets.
Yeah, except we don't like their toilets. Cindy Sinchak.
What do you think about King KF 1001 Falcon automatic directional Wi-Fi antenna with Wi-Fi Max router and range extender?
I don't know that
I don't think you
brand.
know.
There's so many out there now. Uh, I kind of like the automatic directional Wi-Fi, except it's another a moving part that can go wrong. The Wi-Fi Max router and range extender, it's just all these words. I don't know that, so maybe it's cool. I don't know. It's not what I'm testing, so I'll tell you. I'll show you what I'm testing next week. Hopefully, we'll be able to go live from there, and you can judge yourself the quality of our internet signal. So we'll try it, but I don't know that one. We do know about the Pure 3 Volta power system. It's another lithium system. I think they're Florida based. Is Volta Florida? No, it's another company. But yeah, our friends at Holland Motorhomes have done a lot of Volta installations,
Hmm.
and Volta has a really good reputation. We don't use it because we use Battleborns, but Volta is pretty cool.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That
so
it is. Okay. Do you bring a generator with you for staying at Harvest Hosts?
we don't bring one, but we have one already in our RV. In the heat of summer, I think we would probably use it to go to sleep or run through the night. But and every place has a different policy on generators. There's a lot of neighbors around because they're noisy. But
And some Harvest Host places even have electric.
yeah, we were at a place in Michigan, up near Harrisville, Michigan, the Alcona Brew House. We were just surprised. They had 30 amp supplies in there for everybody, which is great.
I think that a noisy generator wouldn't be very welcomed.
Uh,
I mean, it's like if you stay in a lot of parks, you have to turn it off. You have certain generator hours.
and if you have a farm, you got the animals and stuff.
Mhm.
So remember, these are
Generators.
not campgrounds. These are businesses that let you stay there, and they expect you to be as self-contained as possible. And a generator, there's no way around it, is a pretty intrusive thing.
Mhm.
But ask them, and if you're probably the only one there and there's nothing around you, no one around that you're going to disturb, I'm sure they'll let you do it.
I
Or
mean,
for
you go
brief
to
periods of time, they'll let you
you got a
go.
lot of parks, generators stay over here, and everybody else over here.
Yep, yep. No. Tim Call.
Can you take long hot showers in your Wonder? We
Mm,
don't.
You can
If you
take.
were hooked up,
Yeah, if you're hooked up to water, yes, I wouldn't take a long hot shower because I like long hot showers, but we have that Truma instant Aqua Grow instant hot water heater, which I like taking it. I do not mind taking a shower in it because you can take a 3, 4 minute, 5 minute shower. Five's probably a little long, but it goes through your fresh water a lot. We have 30 gallons of fresh water, and I don't want to use it all up in the shower. But if you're in a park where you're hooked up to water, yeah, you can go on. You're still going to put all your gray water in that you're going to have to empty, but
and
that's
you don't recommend being hooked up when you're taking a shower, your
you
gray
don't leave the
your-
gray open. No, no,
no, you
but
never
you can
do that.
empty it easily.
But
That's not a problem.
it's easy to empty.
And what we find often is if we're at a park, they usually have pretty nice showers. If
The
they
showers
don't,
are getting better.
yes. Where was it that we just stayed and they had at the KOA if you guys are on Instagram, we did a live shot from there on Wednesday or
Horse
Thursday.
Mhm.
The KOA at Horse Cave,
Wednesday.
Kentucky.
Mhm.
You really like that place.
I really like that place. We stop there whenever we go south. If it's reasonable to do, we stop by there, and we've watched them work so hard and just do nothing but make that campground better.
We did a live tour on Instagram of these covered wagons that they are using. KOA kind of pioneered the camper cabins, which are really everybody's doing those now. But this park, besides the cabins, they have 4 covered
Covered
wagons,
wagons.
and Jen got a key, and we did it live. We walked in. We were just blown away how nice that
Yeah.
was.
I mean, there were bunk beds and a king size bed. It was air
A
conditioned,
big king size
a little
bed.
microwave, a little refrigerator, a little coffee pot, 2 comfortable chairs, a stand in between. The lights were, it was just nicely done.
And just down the road, you know, the
Right
the
next
row
to,
right next to were 2 tree houses, basically a KOA cabin that they put up in the trees. Up tree. It was just awesome.
not for everybody. You can't
Yeah,
do stairs.
yeah.
And you got to behave yourself. You wouldn't want to fall
But they
out.
were all laid out in front of this beautiful meadow where there's usually a bunch of, like a pasture, a bunch of cows and stuff that you can
Horses.
watch, and horses. And what got us talking about that is how nice their bathrooms were. That they really have upgraded their bathrooms. They're all individual showers
I
and
like that.
bathrooms,
The
clean.
individual showers and
Yeah.
sink and toilets.
So, long way back to that question we had about long showers and the wonder. If we're staying at a place like that, I'm going to go use the individual back, with unlimited hot water where I can take a 20-minute shower if I want. So,
And most KOAs they're clean. They pride
yeah,
themselves on
yep.
maintaining.
There's a standard that they seem to have, and that's where we stay more often than not if we're going to stay in a commercial campground. Follower of Jay.
Do you still find it difficult to find good boondocking locations?
Um, Not good ones, but we are finding more people have also found them. I guess that's the best way I could describe it. There's so many places to boondock, but more and more people are boondocking, and that's just because this is just a crazy time with so many people camping. And even now, in the height of summer down here, where the season is kind of ending with everybody going back to school in the south, the campgrounds are still very full, very full. So thank you for the question,
Mhm.
but there's still lots of good spots out there. Well, folks, we are going to end this a little early because it's still daylight out, and we've got a couple of teenage girls that are hungry. 4 of them,
Three.
4 of them, 3 of
Three.
them. Well,
We were supposed to have 4, but we've got
that's
3.
right. So we're going to go. A couple reminders. One more week, and then next week we'll be announcing the winners. So please check that out. It is a really great sweepstakes offering that you can do. Don't forget our group map where you can share the favorite spots you go to. And that's it. I got to turn that off. Stop texting me while I'm on the air, Les. Les, don't do that. You always are doing that, and it preoccupies me. Don't text me. My friend Les is giving me all these. He knows that I'll never get through on the thing, so he texts me. And I usually turn that off. Now I'm all confused what I was saying, but Les can get away with it because he's a friend. Anyway, that's it. Let's go back to Phyllis. Phyllis, I forgot to tell him more about the sweepstakes.
No, it's good. I just forgot to say that our sweepstakes have been U.S. only residents. So if anybody's having trouble entering, it's probably because you're not based in the U.S. It's just because of the shipping and getting the thing to you if you happen to win. So just a heads up on that. And there were some questions over on Facebook that we didn't get to, and I'll go over there and see if we can clean those up after we're all done.
And please tell people, send us the questions. Just do a little voice. Send us to Mike and Jen at rvlifestyle.com, and we'll answer your questions on the podcast that comes out on Wednesday. So, Phyllis, thank you very much. And over on YouTube, we want to thank Chris Cowley, who was herding the cats over there and keeping everybody going. Thank you, Chris, for your excellent work as always, and for being with us tonight. Thank all of you guys who chose to spend Sunday night. We'll probably do a couple of live Instagram hits tomorrow as Tropical Storm Fred makes its presence known here in the Gulf Coast.
Our daughter's a journalist as well. So you guys will be standing out there.
We'll probably be out there playing Weather Channel. Although I heard the Weather Channel was in town today. Les's wife, Kathy, sent us a text and said they were on from this area here. So we'll catch you guys later. Don't forget the newsletter tomorrow and the podcast coming out on Wednesday. And we had some fun with the podcast. We actually learned a lot from the person who got to watch Bo while we were at a family gathering in Nashville about the problem of separation anxiety with our pets. And this is something that RVers in particular will encounter as they travel. As you start to leave your pets for a little, because they're used to being with you through the COVID lockdown 24/7. But just some great tips on just having keeping your pet happy and while you're doing other stuff. So anyway, that's coming up on the podcast with much, much more. So thank you guys so much for being with us tonight. We really enjoy doing this every week. And next week, although there's another storm coming next week, but hopefully we'll be able to go live and we'll tell you about this new internet system we're checking out. So,
sounds good to me.
Thank you, guys.
Happy trails.